Good morning and welcome to the Sunday edition here at Daryllorette Cafe. I'm your host, Darylorette. Well, as usual, I just came from the kitchen, just fixed myself a big bowl of oatmeal with a couple of chopped bananas and a can of mandarin oranges. This morning, I have a cup of lemon tea. Well, yesterday it rained and rained and rained and rained all morning. I was pretty much soaked, even though I wore a raincoat, had an umbrella, wore my work boots, did my best to be prepared for the rain, but I still got wet. Primarily because I had to do a lot of walking. So I went yesterday. I had an open call to go to for Total Recall, a remake starring Colin Farrell. So I went to that. It was pretty cut and dry, pretty routine. Nothing special, It was a bit of a learning experience, but nothing to write home about, really. So it went well as expected. Not really. I think it might come in conflict with a June workshop that I'm preparing to go on, and so I'm not really too concerned about whether or not I get any work on the project, because I can't afford to lose the money I paid for my workshop that I'm going to be doing in June. So and it's only background work and it doesn't pay all that great, so I'm not really too worried about it. But I was just glad to go on the open call, because it's been a while since I've been on one, and I was just curious to see what it would be like to go on an open call as a full ACTRA member, whereas the last time I went on an open call, it was just as a non-union member. So I was just interested in the experience, comparing the two, a union member, full union member, versus non-union member. So I was just more interested in learning what went on. We were the first, the full members were the first ones to be seen and whatnot, and the first ones to get out of there. I mean, I showed up an hour early, and there was at least a half a dozen people there before me, plus the woman that was in charge of the open call. And we had to fill out a form and whatnot, and we all, when they were ready, we got into a lineup down by on the first floor at Pinewood Studios up there in Toronto. Not in England, but Toronto. So we all got in a lineup and we waited our turn and went in and had our picture taken with our information held up. It was kind of like a mug shot, you might say. For the first time, I felt like smiling having my photo taken. And it was like, don't smile. It's like, oh, okay. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So we're going to get busy here because our oatmeal is nice and hot and we want to eat it that way. Yesterday afternoon when I got back home, I got another email for another open call, but it was something I didn't have the experience to take part in, or else I would have felt obligated to go on that. It was they were looking for a cook and someone who could carve up a chicken really good. So I can cook, but I'm not very good at carving up a chicken very good. So I was like, oh, thank God, because that open call was for today, and I didn't want to go back up to Toronto the following day after going up there, Saturday. It was like, that's just too much. Because I got to go back up on Tuesday for my acting class. That's a little too much of Toronto for 1 week for me. You know, these things get you out of the house, and they get you out around other people interested in the same things you are, and it's good that way, you know. It's therapeutic and get you out of your rut, your routine. So in that sense, it's sort of it's a good thing to do, whether you get it or not. You know, it's irrelevant. The most important thing is that you're getting out of the house, and you're involved in trying to get something that you're pursuing. So, you know, that's the main thing, because you're never going to get every audition you go on. But the idea is to go on as many auditions as you can, in the hopes that you will get one or two now and again. You know, that's the whole idea. Because no one, it doesn't matter how good you are, gets every audition they go on. Even the really good actors, like Colin Farrell. You know, so even those guys don't get every audition they go on. And they go on auditions, let me tell you. And sometimes the only reason they get an audition is because some other actor who's better than them, and you know, the producers wanted that actor to play the part, turned it down, and so somebody else gets it. Like even Natalie Portman has gotten jobs like that, you know. So, you know, doesn't matter how high you are up there on the food chain, no guarantees. Yowza. But I must say I did a lot of walking yesterday, and I got a lot of rained on. But left the apartment here at 6 a.m. I was back home by noon. It was like 6 hour round trip. Wasn't bad. That's, you know, that's not too bad. Toronto and back, 6 hours. I had a pretty good night's sleep last night. You know, can't complain. Even though I do. I got somebody who asked me to work on a film in June, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it because it's non-union for one thing, and even this guy that I know who's producing this, probably producing, directing, he probably wrote it. He asked me if I want to work on his next film in June, and I said, yeah, sure, just give me a call when you need me. Not even thinking, right? He's like, this guy's an actor member like I am, a full actor member, and he's producing non-union projects, and he gets union people to work on the project, which is a big no-no. And if he got caught, well, if the people got caught, he wouldn't get in any trouble, but anybody caught working on a non-union project could get in trouble. Could get a fine. I don't know if I'll work on it because it may come in conflict, because he's doing it in June and I'm doing a 2-week workshop in June, stage combat workshop up in Toronto with Rapier Wit. I don't want to mess that up because I paid for that already, and so unless you know, it would have to be a job. You know, the only way you know, oh God, it's just you know, throwing away $1,000 is just you know, you can't even get your head around that. So it's like, no matter what comes up, you know, I'm booking those 2 weeks off and I'm taking my stage combat workshop, and I don't care what comes along. That's my number one priority because I registered for it and I paid for it, and that's about it. Wow. Well, it looks like we're running out of time again, or pretty much have run out of time. So that's what happened to me yesterday. Well, that's how things went yesterday. Okay, I'm going to finish my oatmeal, my cup of tea here, and I'll see you again tomorrow, hopefully. Till next time, this is Daryl Lorette here at Daryl Lorette Cafe. Hoping you have a good Sunday. We'll see you again. Bye-bye. Take care.